Good morning. Let's correct the paper about addition and subtraction. Okay, so the first question was, answer what will happen when to the addition when. Letter A, add 7 units to one of the addends. The sum increases 7 units. For example, 12 plus 11 is 23. If I add 7 units to the first addend, this becomes 19. And when I do this addition, I have 30. See that the result increased in 7 units, okay? Then, letter B. What happens when we subtract 13 units from one of the addends? Let's see. 38 plus 11 is 49. We subtract 13. So let's subtract from the first, for example. So 38 it will become 25 plus 11, and this gives me 36. You can see that the result, the sum, decreases 13 units as well. What happens when we add 5 units to the first addend and 4 units to the second addend? We add 13 units to the sum. Let's see an example. 10 plus 8, it is 18. He says to add 9 in the first addend and add 4 in the second addend. So the first addend will become 19 and the second addend will become 12. This is going to give me 1. It's going to give me 31, right? And if you see, it increased 13 units in the sum. Then what happens when we subtract 8 units from the first addend and 5 from the second addend? So we decrease the sum in 13 units. Let's see an example. 29 plus 16. This is 15 goes 1 is 45. So I'm going to subtract 8 units from the first addend. It will become 21. And I'm going to subtract 5 units from the second addend. It will become 11. And if I add this will become 32. And if you do 45 minus 32, it is 13. So you see that the sum or the result decreased from 13 units. Now what happens if we add 10 units to the first addend and subtract 20 units from the second addend? So let's say that I have 40, okay, plus 50. This will give me 90 at the end. And so I'm going to add 10 in the first addend. It will become 50. And I'm going to subtract 20 from the second addend. It will become 30. And when I add them, it became 80. And it's what it said. I do 20 minus 10 because I took out 20 and I added 10. So at the end, I decreased in 10 units. Okay? Then, letter F. What happens when we add 9 units to the first addend and subtract 4 units from the second addend? So the sum increases by 5 units. Let's see here. For example, units. Let's say, for example, that I have 39 plus 46. So 9 plus 6, 15 goes 1. And here 7, 8, 8, 5, right? So I'm going to add 9 to the first addend. It will become 48. And I'm going to subtract 4 in the second addend. It will become 42. When I make this addition, this gives me 10, gives me 90. So my result increased in 5 units because I have 9 minus 4, which is 5, is the final addition increase I have. Then letter G. What happens if we subtract 5 from the first addend and add 8 units to the other addend? So let's take an example. Let's say number 9 plus 1. This is number 10. I'm going to subtract 5 units from the first addend to become 4, and I'm going to add 8 units to the second addend to become 9. 4 plus 9, it is 13. So in the total, I added 3 units. Right? Then, letter H. What happens if we subtract 12 units from the first addend and add 15 to the second addend? So let's say I have 38 plus 17. And this is 15, goes 1. So it is 55. So I'm going to subtract 12 from the first addend. This will become 26. And I'm going to add 15 units to the second addend. This will become 32. When I make this addition, it comes 58. And in the end, I added 3. The sum increased by 3 units. Notice that we take 12 and add 15. Therefore, 15 minus 12 is 3. So it's here, okay? Then, it's another exercise. Let's think. The sum of 3 numbers is 125. Which will be the new sum when we subtract 8 units from the first addend, 6 units from the second addend, and we add 5 units to the other addend? So I have 3 numbers that I don't know. Let's say it's a triangle, a square, and a circle. This addition gives me 125. So I'm going to subtract 8 units from the first addend. When I subtract 5 units from the first addend, I'm going to subtract 5 units from the result too, remember? Then I'm going to subtract 6 units from the other addend. And I'm going to add 5 units on the third addend. So when I subtract 8 units from the first addend, my new sum, it will be 117, okay? Then, when I subtract 6 units from the second addend, I subtract 6 from my result. So my new result, my new sum, it will be 111. And finally, when I add 5 units to the third addend, I have to add 5 to my final result. And this will give me 116, which is the result here, okay? So let's see another example. The sum of 3 numbers is 100. So 3 numbers, again, I don't know them. I'm going to say triangle, square, and circle. This addition, it is 100. So what will be the new sum when we add 2 units to the first addend, 17 units in another addend? He doesn't say where, so let's say that is here, and we subtract 19 units from other addends. Let's say that is here, okay? So I have to see what will happen to my result. First, I will add 12 units. So my new sum will be 100 plus 12, which is 112. But so when I did that, in the second addend, I'm going to subtract 19 units. So I have to subtract 19 units from my result. So my new sum will be 12 minus 3, 9 is 3, 0 minus 1 is not possible, 10 minus 1 is 9. It's going to be 93. But then in the last addend, I add plus 70 units. So I have to add 70 units to my old sum. 0 goes 1, 110. So my new sum, it is 110, okay? Then, what will happen to the additions below? So, we have the first addend, we add 6 units. Then in the second addend, we take out 4. In the third, we add 5. In the fourth addend, we subtract 2. So, I need to do the operations, yeah? I'm going to join 6 plus 5 is 11. And the subtractions, 4 plus 2 is 6. So I do 11 minus 6. So in the end, I increase the 5 units, right? Let's see the other example. I add 5, subtract 3, subtract 4, add 6. So the additions are 5 and 6. So 5 plus 6, it's 11. Then the subtractions, 3 minus 3 minus 8. So minus 3 minus 8, it is minus 11. So I increased 11 and then I decreased 11. So 11 minus 11 is 0. So the sum doesn't change, right? Now answer what will happen to the rest when we add 12 units to the subtrahend. Let's see an example. I have 45 minus 38, okay? So 9 minus 8 is 1, 4 minus 3 is 1. I'm going to add 12 units my subtrahend. So my new subtrahend, it's going to be, no, let me take another example. Because here is going to be greater than. Okay,